Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Threadlings of Filmmaking Production Diary. I'm your host Miguel Ortega, and this is my lovely co-host Tran Ma.
Hello, everyone.
We're talking about the making of a short film in Unreal Engine 5. What are we on? 5.3. So
Yes,
5.4 just came out, but we're not using it yet. Um,
it
and
looks
yeah,
super promising, though.
yeah. So this is just some stuff that we've been doing on the exterior. Um, a lot of work, a lot of work. I'll show you some stuff. So here we're seeing these are not really well put together. It's just kind of like testing what it looks like. Some of the new additions. We have some peyote. They have to be bunched up together. They're not bunched up together yet. Some of the peyote there. Let's see. So you can see what the little guys look like in that world.
I get excited seeing that. I think he looks super cute.
It looks pretty cool. Let's
You should play.
see.
You should play in a loop a little bit more.
Yeah, I'll play it in a loop. Let's find an angle that works. Let's do this one. So let's see who's here. Uh, Siohi, Ruben, what's up, guys and gals? Netbug, Netbug's always here. Uh, so yeah, so just starting to see what this looks like from the outside, which is kind of cool. So this week, just doing more uh, little cactus, so stuff like this, stuff like this. I have another one. I have to bring it in, which is so these are the peyote ones. These were done by Liz from Gnomon. That's some grass poking through. I have to fix that. Again, this is not like final layout. This is just like, okay, how does this all look when I put it together? That's the peyote. This is the cactus towers. Um, Succulents. These guys are really cool here. Takes them a second to look correctly. These guys here. And you can
Where
see
did those short one come in? Did you like kit bash it?
these.
Yeah,
Yeah, they look cool, right?
they look really good.
I like how long the spikes are.
Yeah, I really like that, and like how thick they are. They give caught a lot of scale.
And maybe these spikes up here should be bigger. So anyway, just putting these together, and the big thing that we're up against is like we kind of wanted to avoid path tracer, but the more I see path tracer, the floor gets messed up. But you can see, damn, that looks pretty cool. Like the subsurface on this stuff,
Yeah, it doesn't
but the floor breaks.
doesn't pay off in the other sets, but it really pays off in that one.
Like, look at this cactus. This is the ones that I really love how they look with subsurface. These are done by David. Um, but when I go back to lit, it's pretty cool.
I think he looks so cute in there.
He looks like a little guy. Yeah, he looks pretty cool. Um,
I wish it was playing smoother, but you can because some of the animation looks a little streaming bumpier.
does
There
that
you,
look better?
yeah, that's better. He looks cute.
How many people are working on this? So it's mostly Tran and I, but then we get a bunch of help here and there from a few selected people. So main ones are the riggers that are, we don't rig at all. So all the rigging is done by two different riggers, uh, Stephen Hewitt and Dominic Quick. Um, no, what am I saying? Dominic. What's his last name? It's a tougher last name. Yeah. It's not Dominic Quick. His last name is not that.
It is Dominic. Let's
No, it
see.
is Dominic, but the last name I'm Barriere. Uh, yeah. No, it's not Quick at all.
No, that's like with David.
So we just recently woke up, so our brain is fried. Okay, so Dominic, and then we have on the modeling side, on the texturing side in particular, we've gotten help from few artists from Gnomon. So we just use our students to help us out, the best students, and we've used them quite a bit for help, for texture help. And a few of these cactus we got help on. So this one was done by Liz. This one was done by David Eisenstad. This is Liz Chua. And then I did the rest. Did I do the rest? I did do the rest.
Yeah, you did the rest. You made a few, and then you assembled some.
I
and
kibbashed
gathered
some.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah, those cactus look like fun.
Yeah.
So I've been on cloth for like ever. Like forever.
I love all the cactus in there. They look amazing. Yeah, the cactus is cool. So our thing was that we knew that this thing, we wanted it to feel like Smurfs, but we didn't want to use mushrooms at all because that's what, the default go-to would be for this. So we said, let's go for cactus. Part of the reason why we picked cactus actually is when if you actually go through Gnomon campus, there's actually some really pretty cactus. And we started noticing, and we are like, this looks pretty magical. And then we just started.
So we were inspired by the
Yeah.
things around us.
Yeah. And then the other thing that we really liked about it is the fact that it's more sculptural, and trees never look as good as I feel they should look in CG. And I don't want to be the first one to make it good because they're a pain in the ass. So we're like, let's just do cactus.
Yeah, most tree, and then that's like a conversation that Miguel and I had. Like, when you look at trees, they're usually like at best mid-level quality. You never really have superhero ones unless it's like a very specific movie. It's just way too much work because you'd have to do it all from scratch, especially when you look at these guys at the scale that they're at. So everything has to be so much higher resolution.
And you know what the thing is? The thing about trees is they could totally be done. Like, no doubt about it. It's just who wants to suffer for like 4 months to do one tree. It's
Yeah.
really what it comes down to.
Yeah, it is absolutely that. It's a ton of work.
That no one cares about.
Yeah. And how well does that really pay off?
Bobby, what's up? So yeah, so that's what I've been up to. So just focusing on these things. So I can show you some of the stuff, but for the most part, it's just the same old stuff over and over. So, let me see how I should show this. I guess I could show it in Modeler. So Tran was asking me like why I like Modeler so much because she's confused by my recent love for it. And really, for me, it's just I want to just try to learn something different. But I think the main thing, and this is something that I think that you would be really good at, Tran, is the fact that, look, do you want to take a look? It's this part of it, right?
Yeah.
The fact that you can do this, right? So you're working live here.
No, it's amazing. I love instancing.
The only thing I've noticed is you want to make sure that you instance when you do this instance that you do it with whole numbers. When you don't do it with whole numbers, you start having issues inside of the ZBrush if you try to like sculpt on top of it. So don't do 13, try to do it like 10, 12, stuff like that. Because when you go to try to clean it up in there, you start having some difficulties. But you see, you could just start with this, and whatever you do on one of these guys is going to be done on all of them. So for succulent type plants, this is really, really cool. So I'll just show you, like, so you can see whatever you're doing it on all of them, which is pretty cool. So initially, I'm just breaking this up. I don't know why my shift decided to stop smoothing. I need to see what the deal with that is, but anyway, so you could do that, and at any point, once you're happy with this, you could duplicate this.
And then you can change, like you were telling me yesterday, you could like change the amount too.
Yeah.
So you could adjust it later.
Yeah.
That's super powerful.
You see, once you do that, then you could grab these guys. Let's grab this here. Let's make a copy. You know, of course, I'm like totally freestyling this thing, and so I'm not going to make some masterpiece here. But the point is that once you do this, whatever you do on one of these guys is being updated on all the ones in that row. So you could just do your stuff, and then at the end, I could just grab this, this, and this, and just merge them. And now this becomes a solid voxel, you see? So now if I come over here and I go to sculpt, that is part of the same model now. So it's pretty cool just how quickly you can make these succulent type.
They're actually perfect for the succulent.
They're perfect, yeah.
Yeah. When I see it like that.
So you have that, and then at any point you could just grab another piece. Let's bring up the symmetry again. Oh, what am I doing? I have to actually create it. So just put it in place. Let's just start again. So we set it, and now we could go back to build up. Let's increase the repetition.
Honestly, when you do that, it looks like a lot of fun.
It's cool, right?
Yeah, I've had too much of this.
And then this is the other thing that I really like is when you go to the warp tool, it retains the volume, so it's more like you're pulling on clay. I don't know if that makes sense. Not like you're pulling like clay, but like almost like you're pulling rubber. So I don't like how that looks, but let's pull this up. I mean, that's kind of cool looking. To oh crap, it got all weird. You see, but that's kind of it's kind of cool. Uh, so okay, so let's just see what we have there. Let's merge them. And then I could just come back over here to my warp. I have symmetry. I think I had 12 here. Let's go to the buildup. It's basically just like a regular brush. Just break this up. And then one of the things you could do is you could just like duplicate this thing, create a copy. And just see, like, the cool thing is you could just kind of play around with it and see if you find something. Some of these cactus, they really just look like stuff shoved into each other, which is kind of crazy, but that really is what they look like. It's a little too shoved into each other. I don't know. Let's do something like that.
I mean, that looks like so much fun.
And then we just grab these and merge them. And then screw it, let's just copy this again. Now it's just looking like a mess, but you gotta try.
Yeah, but you can like find stuff. I don't know. That looks like a lot of fun. It's cool.
It's cool, right?
Yeah, I could totally see why you're like, I'm completely convinced why it should be used.
Well, especially for cactus, I'm not going to use this to create a character, but I think for cactus, it's just kind of carefree. You're just like, let me just shove this into this and merge it and instance it and whatever. Let's see what people are saying. Bobby's saying it's like instancing, moving, rotating subtools and ZBrush. It's such a pain in the ass.
Well, you can sculpt.
Oh, he says I like that instancing, moving. Yeah, is it difficult to do that in ZBrush? I don't know.
You can't really instance in ZBrush. You can like do radial symmetry. I mean, I've never heard of instancing, so maybe I just don't know. But it just can't really. It can't do that.
James says you can, but it's based on sliders. I think that's what Bobby's saying, that it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
That's the
Well,
thing about ZBrush. Sometimes ZBrush can do a lot of amazing stuff. I think ZBrush is an amazing tool, but I do think some of the UI needs to be simplified. Sometimes doing certain things is just way too overcomplicated for its own good, but it can do everything, which is what makes it so incredible. And
I,
that's what's kind of cool about some of these newer programs that are coming out for like iPad and stuff like that, when you really realize how minimal the interface really should be when you're just pushing, pulling, and smoothing. Um, yeah, sometimes they're a little too complicated.
I am, I stuck a rose into the to the hallway.
Do you want to show while this is doing its thing?
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. This is. So anyway, that is my weird 5-minute succulent. Uh, it's weird looking, but it kind of works in a weird way. So I'm going to just muscle this thing through. Let's just see what this looks like. So I'm just going to export this. I'll bring up the poly count. Let's call this Cactus E. So right now it's exporting this as a single model. This usually takes a moment, especially when you start getting into like silly things like what I'm doing here. This is not going to look amazing. You guys saw I spent 5 minutes on this thing, but for a background thing, it could probably work. It looks messy, but that's okay. So we'll just put them in the back somewhere. Give them some pretty colors. Do you want to show something, Tran, in the meantime?
Yeah, I can. I have quite a few things. Let me share my screen. Hold on. Let me like make an effort to present.
One of the questions: each plant is sculpted individually. Uh, so far, yes. I think David used Mash for his, which is a little bit more procedural, but I've done all of mine the way I just showed you. Um, I swear it's not so bad. It's actually kind of fun.
Nothing is that bad. It's just when you, I don't know, do it a lot. At least for me, that's how it is right now. So, what I've been working on is wrapping up Zort set, and also like bringing in some props. Like we didn't have lights in here, so I kit bashed some stuff that I had built before from the Nino. I had to re-UV it. I bought these candles from a packet, and I thought they looked pretty good. You can kind of sort of see how they look. Let me
But
just,
then you built the stands for them.
yeah.
The
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 stand is the cat. I mean, I could have made the candles, but there's a lot. It's a lot of work. It gets tiring. These don't have textures yet, but you can kind of see the modeling. They just have some kind of material with textures from another part of the set. But it's pretty ornate, and it was rebashed together so that it looks more proper to scale. I also bought like this flame, a can of flame separately, like just on the marketplace, and the fire, the smoke. I had to scale those, kind of open them up a little bit because they're actually Niagara systems. And then, I feel like that gives a lot of scale because you just see
Yeah.
like you really get the idea of how big these guys are because that's like the size of the head, and then the size of the flame. They're supposed to be small, so those are one of the things we're trying to bring back in. This piece here, oops, has a really long wire. It's also kit bash. It's the modeling. I think it's pretty good. The textures are
But
like
it's your kit bash.
yeah, it's my kit bash. It's my stuff. I
Yeah.
re-kibash it from the Ningyo set. That's where it's from. And then I re-UV'd it. So I got those pieces. And then I just started placing them down the hall and just lighting them. And this is how it would look when it's dark. So that's, cool. We'll jump over here into this side of the set. And you can see I have these placed, and I think it really helps out the scale a lot. Because we didn't have any indication. And then just seeing like the cactus scene that Miguel was working on, it looks so nice to have that sense of scale. The thing that I'm doing right now is I brought this rose in that I had made before, trying to see how it holds up because we want to bring some plants in. I don't know. What do you think of that rose?
I think it looks really nice.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, where would it go?
So you could have like a rose garden there, but it's interior. It's almost like, oh my God, that could almost look like a freaking what do you call those things? Oh my God, my brain just went blank. The glass houses.
um,
I was gonna say an outhouse, but that's that's not it. Is it a greenhouse?
yeah, it's a greenhouse. Even
Okay,
I
so
forgot that
stupid.
too. We're like so we're tired. So these came from a piece I had done years ago. I mean, I'll load it up in another Maya scene.
Show it, do that flex.
Well, I kind of destroyed it just now, so I'll have to like reload it. It doesn't look as nice though in here. I feel the subsurface when I'm in here. There's things I really like about it, but it's not. It has to be lit a certain way, and then you can really feel that it's really subsurface, like this.
Put a path tracer on. Will it blow up?
I think it's just gonna poop, but let's try it. If I crash, you just take over.
My succulents are still exporting.
It's like I don't know what that is. I'm just gonna go black. This flower, if I gave it to you and you stuck it in your garden, it would look much better. Like
It needs more light.
it doesn't need more light. It just doesn't. It just can't produce that feeling in roses. So roses like are made of a bunch of petals, and they're all subsurface, and so there's a way that light scatters about them that makes them really beautiful. That it's very hard, I think, to like capture in real time subsurface because the light just doesn't bounce. Like I remember when I worked on this. I don't think I'm gonna finish, but I feel like it's gonna look better. I mean, it really like doesn't look as good. It looks like CG to me. Let me pull up this thing. But I remember when I worked on this originally, it was a lot. It took longer to render because I had to increase the number of bounce for the GI. That it made the renders really slow. Like I just needed more light to bounce in the petals. It's been a long time. But I remember
I think that looks pretty good. Remember the whole thing. We're not gonna get super close to it, but that looks good.
yeah.
Yeah. Is that how big a petal would be, or wouldn't it be bigger?
It's about that big. Oh, she's like naked. My characters are naked. So this is like the piece I'm stripping it from. So it's like from one of my earlier pieces. Is it? I made all these plants that took a lot of time, and I just want to see what I can get from them. Miguel is like, why don't you pull them in? I'm like, yeah, I guess. There's these flowers. They don't really have textures, but maybe that's okay. I'll just like see how that works. So that's what I'm doing there. I'll also show you other parts of the set. Let's see. Let's pull up Sort's room.
Sort's room looks cool.
Give it a second. I want a lighting adjust. So here's Zort's room. He's got these candle lights. I feel like they work pretty well. I have his bed. I didn't build like the base, so it's like floating in the air, which honestly is kind of cool, but story-wise, we actually need it. And then I don't know if I had the fruit last week, but we decided like
No, you did not have the fruit.
this would help give it some scale. You have Cot here. He looks a little bit weird because his pose is like all smushed, but it just kind of gives you an indication. It also gives you a sense of scale. A lot of these came from Mega Scans, and then some of them we just purchased. But the Mega Scans ones are super nice. And then this also is a Mega Scan asset. This is a fire pack that we used in Voice in the Hollow. And then we bought back some cool old friends. At least that's how I think
These
of
are
them.
from the Ningyo days.
They are from the Ningyo days. Let's see if I can pull up.
The Ningyo.
Yeah, it's not going to play very well.
A question is, how are you deciding what sells the scale? For example, the walls have more complex detail than the candles. Well, candles have less details than stitching, right? In general, it's just like waxy.
Yeah, well, I get what you mean. It's like they made those things so they can make it at their scale, but the world around them is still large. Like fire is still a certain size. Plants are still a certain size. Yeah, so here's like just a set angle. Here's a couple of shots. Like, oops. I think this is pretty cool. Gives you like some kind of wonderment. It also, the reason why we kind of have these placed, these are not placed like as final things. What will happen is they'll probably move around, and we're going to cheat them shot by shot. It's in order to get like layers of depth, right? Like some kind of like movement in it. You can also see like I tried to push the depth of field there.
Mm-hmm.
And let's pop some of the other angles. So it's another angle that I've been looking at. This is the reverse. Like that's the entrance, or supposed to be. Although I kind of like how I just stuck Caught here. I almost think that could be the entrance. I don't know. Like, initially, this is supposed to be the first shot when he walks into this room. Like, Caught's never been in here. He's not supposed to be in here. But part of me kind of really likes, like, this angle. And all the other thing that we're also discovering, art direction-wise, like, there's something nice about looking downward, right? We normally don't frame our shots like that. Like you can see, we're looking downward. It makes them look really small, and it really gives a sense of scale. So, that's something we've been discussing. I'll open up. That's the wrong one. Let's wait for this to load.
I love this angle so much. It's a little from above shot.
So like his body looks weird. But there's something about like this angle that is where
That's not the angle you showed me yesterday.
that's the angle.
Yeah.
That we're looking down at him a little bit. So that's caught. He doesn't have any expression. His arms are all jacked up. Like look at that little squishy. But his head looks all right. The reason why it looks like that is because it's an Alembic file that doesn't have an animation attached, and it just looks really weird. So there's something just about how he looks here, and that we're looking down that makes him look so small.
So Netbug is saying like when you get really close to small objects, you begin to see the rough surface detail. True, but the thing is, if you get close up to wax, you're not really going to see that much detail.
Yeah, wax is wax.
Yeah, wax is wax, and then
And we're also not going to get that close to the candle.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I know what you're saying.
You know, we can't put, like, yeah, I mean, cloth would have more fibers. So I don't know if that's what you're referring to, but
No, I don't think that's what he's saying. I think he's saying like the fire versus the walls in particular.
yeah, I mean, for me, they, again, I mean, let's look through here. Let me hide Caught because he looks a little funny. For me, like they made their environment, right? So it's not like humans made it. So there's no reason why, like if we made this environment according to their scale, everything would look really big and a lot more clunky. But it's not made by people. It's made by Threadlings, right? And then again, like just the objects around them are large. Like they're gonna have large cactus. There's gonna be large fires. The subsurface is gonna have a certain scale that's not gonna change. And that's really just kind of how it is. Anyway, so that's how this looks here. And again, I'll just pop back. I haven't textured a lot of these pieces. I'm not too worried about that yet. I can't find my content browser. I'll just jump back to this level. And I have too many lights. But yeah, this scene is getting really heavy pretty fast. So anyway, I don't know if you want to show more stuff.
Well, yeah, I could just keep showing this cactus thing
Yeah, because what I'm doing is like
for now.
breaking this apart.
So here I have Caught, and this is just basically the workflow that I'm doing, which is very just quick and sloppy way of getting this stuff moving. So let's see. So I'll bring this guy in like that. Let me just clear up some of this here. I'll just go to the side view. So maybe we keep them like this, because I like these small ones to be like little clusters. So I'm going to do something like that. Okay, and then we'll use our quad remesher. I'll set this to, what is this, 100,000 polygons. Let's remesh it. This will take a moment. And it'll hide the high res one. Just give it a moment. this tool is pretty cool when you're trying to do just sloppy retopologizing. See, it does a pretty nice job. Always do a cleanup on it before. Non-manifold geometry, so there it goes. There's nothing there. So the scale looks right. I can now just get rid of this guy. So UVs on this, I'm being super sloppy on it again because these are not going to be, this one would not be a hero one since I spent 5 seconds on it. So let's just do a planar mapping on it. And I'll probably just break this in half. Let's get rid of the soft selection. So beyond sloppy, but this will work. I usually like to save before I do this because this is where if there's any kind of dirty geometry and I unfold it, it tends to crash. But I didn't do that, so. We're doing some gambling here, some Dogecoin. All right, let's see what we have. So there we go. I could break this up some more, but I think it should be fine if we put it in 4 tiles. So I'm scaling them all together so the scale is correct. This one might be too big for one. It fits. This one might be too big for one, it seems. I'm not so worried because this part here is kind of like an area you're never ever gonna see. Like it's literally the inside of the cactus, so I may just cut that off. And what is this? We need to find what that is. So there's some nasty geometry there, so we need to fix that. So let's fill this. I'll just do a planar mapping on this again. I should have screwed up. There we go. And we'll just grab that. We'll cut that. Again, you're never going to see that area, so I'm not so worried. We'll put that here. Mesh display. Let's soften this. Okay, cool. Let's delete history, freeze, transform, and I could export this guy. Cactus E, UV'd. And let's bring it into ZBrush. So if you're just tuning in, what we're doing is we are literally making cactus succulents to put into our
Into your environments.
Magico garden, yeah. In here. So more cactus to put in there. Da, 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 da. Let's see how the radial symmetry is working here. I think I had it set to 12. If that's fine. You see, it sometimes is totally off here. Was it 12? It was 12.
You know what it is?
But
You brought in an object that is asymmetrical. And when you bring in objects that don't have symmetry, ZBrush doesn't know where the center, where to pivot its symmetry. Does that make sense?
yeah,
So what you have to do is
to do the
star.
star trick.
Yeah. So the star has to always be the first subtool.
And then append the.
Yeah. Well, you might have to re-import it,
I see.
but this first subtool will ground it in terms of like where things are supposed to be.
All right, I should probably just
Yeah.
re-import it.
Um,
Okay. So that append. All right, let's see if that works. It definitely was 12. Nope.
It doesn't work.
Nope.
It can't find the symmetry.
Unless it was 10. I don't know how to count.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think you have 10.
Yeah, but it's still not the center. Like, look, take a look at the points here.
Yeah. Like it doesn't look, the round thing doesn't, it looks off center anyway. Like when I look at the middle.
No, that's fine. The middle could be off, but these guys should not be.
Right.
It's fine. You know what I'm just gonna do? I'm just gonna muscle through it real quick. What the hell? If it looks a little funky, that's okay. It'll look more natural. So I just start trying to connect these guys a little bit. Sculpting Cactus, kids. Don't forget where you got all this amazing entertainment. It's exciting times. Just breaking this up, and
It's more exciting than what I've been showing. Like a lot of the stream is just like,
yeah, but the stuff you're doing looks really cool.
Yeah, but your stuff is super cool too. It looks a lot more fun than what I'm doing, in my opinion.
My stuff will be cool once it's all put together. Right now, I'm just making little components. Let's give this. Maybe this piece just got upgraded to hero piece by me having to go in and custom sculpt each little piece.
Here's a comment. It'll work. It's a skill I need to develop. I would have redone it.
Oh yeah, totally. No, the smart thing is to have redone it. You don't have to build the skill. The skill is just called, damn it, I'm just gonna do it. But again, it's like the cool thing is when you're doing your own projects is like if this guy works out, you put him in the foreground, and if he doesn't, you put him in the background. If it's for like you're doing this for a job, you can't go, oh, by the way, that thing that I did really sucks, so make sure you put it in the background. They'll be like, wait, what do you mean it sucks?
Yeah.
You don't get to pick where
No.
it goes. Do you remember that thing on Thor when they started doing layout and all the models were scaled to just completely random sizes? Remember?
Yeah.
That insanity.
It was so. And then the other thing, it was just no one saw like what the issue was. Like no one saw it as a problem. Like, how is this a problem? You're like, it's totally a problem.
So we were working on the movie Thor on the Jotunheim sequence. The layout department grabbed our models, which were all very displacement heavy. I think that might have been part of the issue.
Oh, of course, because then displacements are scale based.
No. Just they were so simple that they kind of interpreted the detail however they wanted because they couldn't see it. Do you see what I mean? They didn't know what the proper scale was. Anyway, the point is, because no one's going to know what the hell we're talking about, they started grabbing our models that were really beautifully done, took forever to do, and they just started building Jotunheim. That's the ice planet in the first Thor movie. With no care at all for the scale of anything. So we get a call like, hey, these models really don't look that good. And I freaked out because that was my department. I was the modeling supervisor on that film. And when I look at the models, like they just completely scaled everything. So they would grab like a little rock that was meant to be like a pebble or something, and they just turned it into like a mountain. And then they grabbed like a little piece that was meant to be like a sidewalk, and they turned it into, I don't know, again like
a tower.
A tower or something. Like it was just completely random
Size.
scaling of stuff, and everything just looked terrible. Oh man, I remember I got so mad at that poor guy, the layout guy.
Yeah, but he did mess up. Like, what are you doing rescaling this stuff? You can't, in a production, you can't do that because if you are using displacements, your displacements are scale based. So you will actually break all your look depth stuff. Even shaders are scale based, right? Like things with subsurface scattering and all that stuff.
Yeah.
You'll just ruin it.
Yeah.
And it will break everything. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I just guess that's the nice thing. When we're working Unreal, you're like, what displacement? This is all geometry, super heavy.
Oh yeah, that's the best part. You could scale. You could do whatever the hell you
Yeah,
want.
it's so free and liberating. But there's so many rules, right? Like generally, and they exist for a very good reason. But it is nice to be like free from that.
Yeah.
So I am. You think this rose thing is gonna work? You don't
Yeah.
think it's kind of cheesy?
It's super cheesy, but we could
That's
play
right.
yeah, it's gonna be awesome. It'll totally work.
Okay.
Nothing in this film makes sense. This is a horror film with cloth people fighting moths in a world that only has giant cactus, and the music is 1980s synth music, and there's an exorcism in it.
Well, not really as much anymore.
Yeah, I know, but we should put it back in.
Yeah, but it's gonna become long. But yeah. Uh, I do miss that. I do like the exorcism. Anyway, I'm placing all these flowers around. I don't know. I don't think my screen is showing at all.
Show it. Just jump, take it over. Trust me, no one's gonna want to see what I'm doing.
I don't know if this is like cheesy, you know? Can you see that?
Looks cool.
Is that actually cool?
Yeah, it's super cheesy, but awesome.
It's just grows on the column. Maybe they're too pink. Is that what it is? I think it's too pink. The color is much more pink.
I like it.
What if it's like lighter, like this color? Like more peachy. And it blends in the wall more. I'm actually asking your opinion.
I don't think you need it to blend into the wall more.
But isn't it too pink?
No, I think it looks good. Let's grab that damn standard. Where is it? What a weird name for a brush.
It's named after a person.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
His name is Dam.
Peachy is good. Thanks, Bobby.
Oh,
Well,
Damien.
yeah, it's named after an artist named Damien.
Did he create it or something?
I think yeah, that brush was so popular. I don't think we had that. I remember when first using ZBrush, like we had like 3 brushes or something.
Yeah.
And it was very difficult to sculpt rocks because there were just not that many brushes. And now there's like a billion brushes.
Maybe a little too many.
I guess so. I mean, I don't know. They do like really cool stuff. Yeah, not sure. Maybe I'll try bringing in other stuff. I'm just worried that this is going to look like art direction.
It is art direction. Like, this is totally, they're doing this for decoration.
I wonder how this would look. Just saving this. Could I color correct this to be more like I think if it was red, it would be really cheesy, right?
Yeah.
No red flowers? Yeah, no.
Red roses are pretty corny. They're for, like, you know, glam rock music videos.
They used to be a thing, right? I don't know.
Yeah, they're 80s. Yeah, that's so stupid that a rose is a 80s thing, but yeah. They've been around for millions of years, but for some reason they're now from the 80s.
I don't know where I'm at. I'm lost in my scene. Okay. I'm going to strip this person some more. I'm not sure if any of this looks good. Like these are background flowers. Just for those who are wondering. I never liked these. So I don't I want to bring them in. I made these here myself a while ago. I don't think these have good, nope, they don't. They don't even have textures. These have textures. I'm going to pull up a render and see how they look. It's, to me, it's not really in the modeling. It's a lot of it is in the textures.
On those flowers.
Yeah, it's, you have to do, it's not that, it's, well, there is work in the modeling, but a lot of it comes, in my opinion, in carrying through like the texture. Trying to pull up an image. So these are what the flowers look like in V-Ray. To me, they look different. Like they look all, the color is all peachy. And these are up here are the flowers I'm considering pulling in. I did try on them, that's for sure. I remember trying, and then I didn't like how they looked. I could also bring in these, and then these guys. These have no textures on them, but Miguel was suggesting that we try bringing them in. When I did this piece, it the flowers took longer than the face. So the flowers were a lot more work for me than the actual face itself. And it took most of the time. So maybe I should try, I guess that's what I'm thinking, doing that. I'm going to make my life easier and just remove namespace in my Maya scene. And then right now what I'm trying to do is figure this out. Although the namespace is not gone. Delete, merge with root. Okay. This way I can kind of figure out my textures. Which is, you know, this is not super exciting.
None of it is super exciting.
No.
It all becomes exciting at the end.
Yeah.
I think that's something that I always tell people, like, just know that playing video games and making video games are two very different things.
Yeah, of course.
Like, I think people expect like instant
Instant
gratification.
gratification. When you're you know, that's the difference between working and being, you know, entertained.
Yeah. That's what I hate about those YouTube videos. It's like, I made a Unreal game in 10 hours and I had no experience. It's like, you probably didn't do a freaking thing, kid. You downloaded everything off of the marketplace and you pressed compile. Right?
Yeah.
You have no experience. Yeah, so you learned how to model, texture, UV, rig, and everything in 13 hours and code. That's amazing. And then it sets this unrealistic expectation.
What I'm doing right now is I'm trying to figure out how many materials I have on this thing. And I literally have to write it down. Because this is important in bringing it in. and I just don't remember. But I actually, even if I remember, I still have to write it down. So anytime when I go from Maya into Unreal, it's this process exactly like this, trying to figure out like what are all my parts. So I actually have 4 materials. The bougainvillea flower, which I don't think I'm saying that right. I have the leaf, and then I have these nubby flowers that I also made. These things here, they're single-sided, so I actually have to change the material. I'm not sure if they work. They don't. They also have an opacity. Yes, I'm not sure if this is going to look good. I do have to change my shader, I think, for this to work. And there's translucency, there's all this stuff. Well, I'll just give it a shot. And as I paste this over, I realize when I'm doing this how boring this is.
Yeah. Well, it's better than sculpting a symmetrical cactus without symmetry turned on.
I don't think so. I think what you're doing is way more fun. I'm doing like, I feel like I'm doing super tedious stuff. Like it's incredibly tedious. Okay, so I'm losing organization because I'm simple. So what I'm doing here is I'm going to color code stuff. And I'm going to name the material. This material, I want to actually create that and just paste the name in. And because my mind is simple, I'll actually understand what I'm doing more if I color code these pieces. Oh God, this is a separate material too. These are nubs, these are flowers. Okay. But this is our day. Okay, so before I disconnect this, let's track where all that is. That's the orange material. Okay. And now I'm just trying to find where all this is. I don't know. I think you should show what you're doing because I'm literally tracking files right now.
Sure, that's fine. I mean, it's not exciting, but I'll show. I'm just breaking this thing up. Let's see. So I'm just making this thing. It's going to be cooler in the sense that it's going to be much more asymmetrical. But it's not like super exciting. It's totally not the smartest way to do it. I should have gone back, like NetBug was saying, and fixed the symmetry, but it wouldn't have looked as asymmetrical, which I think this is gonna look more natural in that sense. So let's use the clay brush and just kind of build up some of these guys a little bit. Just build this up. And the idea is to try to just crank these out. So I'm not trying to make a masterpiece here, right? I'm just trying to do as many versions of these succulents in the shortest amount of time. Like I want to try to do 4 of these a day. And that's model, texture, UV, bring it into Unreal, get all the shader stuff working. So it's got to move fast. How's it going?
For me, I'm just trying to finish organizing.
Yeah, we're working when there's a lot of silence.
Yeah, we're just trying to push things forward to get it done. That's kind of how it is. As we're feeling like a certain momentum, I guess is how I would describe it. Like right now, I don't know how it is for like you guys as listening. I assume most of everyone is also an artist. But for me, there is something about building your momentum and then, making sure like you can maintain that. Like anything can kind of deflate that. Like I have to build the speed, and then once I stay there, I can just keep going. But if something like breaks it, it needs to be built up again. It sounds so stupid when I'm saying it. I feel like, what am I talking about? But I feel like it's a real thing though. And that's just based on like doing this stuff. It was like that in the Voice of the Hollow. At the end, I really had a lot of momentum going.
Oh, at the end it was insanity. We were pushing shots out in a day. We'd have multiple shots done. It was just crazy.
Yeah. Like the speed of it just it
Become
was
a machine.
yeah, we became a machine. And I'd like to kind of hit that point again. If we could. I mean, we will. And that's kind of like why we're just kind of quiet. Because I think we're kind of, I don't know what's the word for it. Are we in the zone? Out of the zone? I don't know what kind of zone.
Today's 80s day, so we're in the what would be the song that they would play like in a montage. Not Eye of the Tiger. We're not Eye of the Tiger yet, but something like that.
Yeah, we're not there yet. But I really want to, I do actually talk to Miguel like that. Like I gotta move faster. I gotta push harder. And it is like a real thing to us. I think it's real for everyone. The zone. That's his comment.
There's
It's very helpful hearing you talk about momentum, Tran, especially in production, since it's also tough and overwhelming. Yeah.
it's the danger zone. It's a Top Gun song.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
I mean, like, if you're working as an artist, like, right, people always talk about how burning out is real. And that obviously is real. Like, people do get burnt out. I also think it's real to like to find yourself in a certain pace that is like you're kind of on fire. I want to be on fire. That's what I want to be. And just pushing all this stuff, moving more quickly. Like when I start my day, um, I try to, and I don't always succeed at this. I do, tell myself today I need to get this, and this done. I always have like goals in mind, um, of what I think I'm going to achieve in that day. And it's usually pretty ambitious, I would say. Okay, this finally looks ready. Um, it is always ambitious. It's never like like a realistic goal. I think it's always like pushing it. And so if I get, you know, 60%, like no, it's always super ambitious. And I always like hope I get at least 80% of it. I think that's more realistic in terms of what like I want to get. And then that's how I go about it. I don't know if you're the same. Like, do you have goals yourself? I actually never talked to Miguel about this. Right? Do you have goals?
If I think about all the stuff we have to do, I will be so overwhelmed. I will go into a fetal position and cry. So I try not to think about anything beyond the task at hand.
Well, I don't think about too far ahead because I would actually get also overwhelmed if I did that. Um,
I think part of the reason why this project has been so difficult for us to really get going on is because we already did it with the voice in the hollow. And now that we know how much work it is, it overwhelms the crap out of us. Like I think on the voice in the hollow, that ignorance is bliss is part of why we were able to get it done.
yeah, I think that's that too. Like, uh, you know, the thought process that I had back then was very simplistic, and I guess ignorant, but not like I don't know about if it's truly ignorant because I kind of know that I don't know, right? And I kind of like not knowing. Like I knew that it was going to be hard and a lot of work, but it was very free. There was no pressure. It was just like just make this thing, and if nobody likes it, that's okay. And there is definitely a lot more pressure this time around.
Yeah.
Why is this not? Oh, I see.
Let's see what hideous thing I could do here. Okay, that's cool.
I'm still assigning stuff to flowers. But yeah, now there's actually more additional pressure. Um, I think the biggest pressure for me is like, it was like this on Voice in the Hollow, but just being afraid, like, if your thing just sucks. Right? Like, it's so different. I don't know, how relatable it is, but like, if I make an art piece and I want to post it, it's just a still, and it doesn't require that much investment as like a short, where you're trying to tell a story, you're trying to develop characters. It just takes so much longer to execute a story. It takes so much more time and money, and like the investment is so much greater. And you just want it to be, you don't want to like bomb at it. Whereas like if I kind of like make a still, if I go and I go, oh, I'll just make this portrait, and then the portrait kind of sucks. It's like, well, I'll just be kind of feeling bad only for a little bit. because my investment, my time that I've invested into it is so much shorter. I think that's kind of sums it up for me in that sense.
Yeah.
Okay. How's that going? I like how you sculpt. Like you sculpt those things pretty nicely. It like comes really naturally to you.
What does?
Like sculpting those cactus.
Well, it's like I just treat them like they're monster.
Yeah, but I think you do way better than I would do.
Eh.
Bobby, credit to you both. MT has been able to do a lot since stream started. Look at all the assets, recent sets. Yeah, it's a bunch of stuff. We just want to move forward faster. I think here.
The main thing is for me with these cactus is just to not try to make them so precious. Because I think that's where I could get caught up. And then, you know, some of them require that they're precious, but not this one. Okay, so let's see what else we could do.
I'm trying to figure out how to set up this material if it's actually good enough.
Let's see, do I have something here I could use?
Very flowy sculpts, Miguel, from Bobby.
Flowy sculpts.
Just a
Yes.
touch of snake brush, snake hook.
Yeah.
But I feel like these guys are like bubbly.
Yeah, the snake brush, trust me, I love the snake brush type look. The thing is, I wonder if it's it might be too sharp.
Yeah, I think that there is something in the shape language of it being kind of round.
Yeah, like the succulents are much more blobby and not sharp. Some of them are sharp, for sure. I'll tighten these guys. Let's sharpen these.
It's actually kind of working, you know, this weird thing. I feel like there's a zucchini out there that kind of looks like that.
There's a zucchini out there that looks like everybody. There's, yeah.
Let's see if I can find it.
Zucchinis are weird.
It's like maybe it's not a zucchini, but like
Something.
like a squashy type of plant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have some up. Like I don't know if you want me to pull.
Yeah, pull it.
Like
Yeah, Yeah, that's God using a,
These
modeler
guys.
with symmetry. Look at this. That's when they put the intro level modeler on building Earth assets.
Like they have like these weird. Okay, these are like squash, but I've seen them in the supermarket. There's also like really weird pumpkins too. Ooh. There's some really weird looking plants. Like check these out.
Those are awesome.
They look like this one's really strange. They have like warts.
Well, we do need to make pumpkins too.
Yeah. Um we should just scan that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know, there's something magical. They could get kind of gross pretty quickly though. Like
That's when they look even cooler.
yeah.
Yeah, the grosser pumpkins are, the more cool they look. You don't
Okay.
want them to look like Halloween jack-o'-lanterns. You want them to look like they belong in a witch's garden.
That's true. That is much more magical. Okay. So I brought this flower in. One thing I'm not sure about is the material. Because they are single-sided meshes and the roses are actually double-sided, so they have thickness. The main thing about the material is I'm not sure if light is going to scatter through them.
Or an artichoke heart, yeah. The zone. Maybe some Kenny Loggins. I don't know Kenny Loggins.
I feel like I need like 80s montage soundtrack playing to like, keep me like amped up. Okay. Ooh, am I gonna crash?
Okay, so
All right, I can't tell if light scatters through this or not. Okay. Let's see if I can plug stuff in. I don't know if this is the right shader. So I want light to transfer through. All my shaders have been set up with like the subsurface profile, and I'm just not really sure if that works. I mean, I did do this stuff back in Voice in the Hollow, but one, it's been a while, and like some things I feel change. So I'm just not sure. I'm going to create a new subsurface profile, and I just want to see if light scatters through it, because that effect is really important. Okay, so light is scattering through it. So I just connected a subsurface profile that's pink, and I backlit it. That's kind of the only way for me to really know if it's working. And the subsurface profile has pink in it. That has too much subsurface. I'm trying to adjust the scale. Say maybe I could cheat it. But it does break everything. Maybe just push it a little bit. Not only does it break stuff, but sometimes in Lumen, the subsurface profile makes it feel like it's just glowing. Like it's not interacting with anything, but just kind of glowing there, and not being lit. Like it looks like it's self-illuminating. So I just want to be careful. But I do want to push it as far as I can to the point before it looks like it's just like glowing. And I'll bring in these textures. I'll save everything first. And I'll drag and drop this stuff in. If I can find where I put it. These files are also like TIFF. I don't think I want to bring TIFFs. I don't know if anyone has like a program they can recommend that just quickly converts one texture format to another. Because right now I have to open up Photoshop and do it in here. And it's like, it just feels really manual. I mean, it feels really manual because it is really manual. Normally in like a film pipeline, we always use TIFFs. But this TIFF right now that I'm opening, each one is 4K, so I'm opening 3 of them. They're 4K resolution, but they're 50 megabytes, which is actually really large. So when we did Voice in the Hollow, we had higher resolution or like higher quality like texture formats. And I think that contributed to things feeling really slow. So on this one, the only thing I would use are PNGs or JPEGs, which is supposed to be lower quality, but I feel like it's fine. But the texture size is so much smaller.
Why am I getting this? Take a look at this. How I'm using the curvature and like part of the, like I get it's a different tile, but why is that area look much darker than the other? Have you ever had that?
What pass is that?
Curvature.
Yeah, it actually happens sometimes. I would look at how the mesh map's baked out. So if you go to the top.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
I've actually had it happen. Did it bake out weird? It did bake out weird. There's no overlapping
Nope.
UVs, right? Obviously not.
No, it's just that pass. It's just the curvature.
You can try baking it again.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's just, I mean, I don't think you did it. It looks like it's, I don't think you did anything wrong. It looks like it's based on the seam.
Well, let's try it again.
Okay.
Yeah, so did you just rebake it, Bobby? Is that what you did? Let's see if that fixes it. This weird zucchini. It's still weird with the curvature.
This flower is like green.
That's weird. The curvature is just not liking the model. Let's see.
This flower looks really messed up. I don't know why it looks like this. Did the UVs? Oh, the UVs get messed up. I don't know where the UVs are.
It's a boring episode, guys. That means we're working hard.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know what the hell is going on, but I'm not going to be able to use curvature, clearly. So I could fight it and try to solve it, but probably not going to do that. I might just use...
I wonder how much I can undo. So it looks like my problem is I think I lost the UVs when I combined the mesh, which I don't know why I did that. But I absolutely lost the UVs. Okay, so there's multiple UV sets somehow.
Should it be position? No, it should be...
And it's the name of my UV sets. So some of these meshes just have this issue. And so they have no UVs and then the textures don't show up. And this guy has the worst UVs. It like has nothing. I made this in, and the reason why it's like this is because I made it in SpeedTree. Let's try re-exporting this. I know this is not super exciting.
It's super exciting.
It's not super exciting.
No?
No. But even if that's the case, it's still, man, I hate SpeedTree meshes. It's breaking every single thing. Because it like wants to name its own UV set for everything. And then when I combine the meshes, because the set names are weird, it doesn't know what to do except erase everything.
Thanks for saying that, Ruben.
What did Ruben say?
Just that it's not boring, that it's always learning. Okay, let's see.
Okay. Let's try combining it. And I don't think the material I have really works. But we'll just see. I have to build a new one. Let's save everything. Let's find where this mesh is. And I'll just try re-importing it. And it still looks really weird.
There is something funky with my curvature.
I'm about to throw these flowers away.
Never.
I don't know what's wrong with it. Like this thing is like green. It has no which flower is that even? Okay, I'm also freezing up. But I got like these green petals. And I'm like, I think there's something wrong with these UVs. And then on that one too. Like what happened to these? Some of the flowers are reading correctly and others are not.
Remember on Voice in the Hollow, we actually did have some days where like just everything broke, where we just like ended the stream just pissed off. We didn't even hide it. We were like, ah.
I know what I'm going to do. I'm just going to load the texture in here. So I can just see what's going on. Well, we kind of had that like a couple weeks ago where the rig was just exploded.
Yeah.
And right now I'm like, what's up with this? Okay. All right. Oh my God. Why the textures don't line up? Okay, this set is fine. This is a different one. Okay, so I assign another one there. Close that. This one's supposed to be good. And then just dig. And try and figure out which one it is. Nope. So this one. Okay, so it's one of these.
Fun times.
Yeah, fun times. I gotta open this again in Photoshop. It's tedious. And I would just want to make sure that this is, I'm not using TIFFs. Because they're 15 megabytes and they just really add up. So again, anyone here has recommendations for quick file conversions? I'd be more than happy to take them and appreciate them. Because this is like too slow to manually do this. Okay, so in here I'll connect this one. I'll just stick this orange one. All right, cool. That finally works. I don't know, my leaves have the same problem. Let's just find out. So I'm going to connect everything here again. Okay, my leaves are good. I mean, it's not that bad of a plant, so let's break that connection. Break that, color coded. And let's break this connection. I don't want to export it with textures attached as an FBX. Let's combine it and see if any of the UVs disappear. Yeah, I do that, but it's still kind of crappy. I just wish there was like a external thing, like just like some kind of standalone. But I still use that batch action, but sometimes it just fails. Okay, let's try reloading this mesh. It also, I didn't make the material. Okay, that's okay. Let's come back here. Let's duplicate this here. And on the static mesh, just pop this new material. Okay, so it doesn't recognize two. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 materials. Unreal thinks I have 6 materials. So I'm just going to delete the mesh and just manually re-import it because the material count is different and I just don't want to mess with that. Because that just makes it difficult. No, I do have 6 nubs. Yeah. Okay. B flower, B stem. You can see I can't do basic tracking. The stem. It's actually important for me, even if my materials aren't great, that I have all this in there. Because when it loads it in, I just get confused. That's the other thing too, like when I'm looking at this, I don't work this way anymore. I would try my best to stick everything into one material because it just becomes really difficult to manage. Like I would never put 6 materials on this thing. If I made it like right now for Unreal. Okay. here. And I'm just checking to make sure I have all of them. And I'll just re-import this. How are you doing on your thing?
It's good. It's saving, so it's frozen.
Okay. Got something on it. It still is not able to recognize one. Okay, so it messed up the naming.
Saving these are not the fastest. Okay, there we go.
So when I convert them, when I import my meshes, the first thing I do, like if you're wondering what I'm doing, is normally the material assignments line up. I'm not having that problem. I'll turn on UV precision because the UVs look funny sometimes, and then I'll convert it to nanite afterward. I don't do it all at once, and the reason is because I feel like stuff gets stuck sometimes. So I just like to not put that in there. I also need subfolders because I'm going to get confused. I mean, I'm already confused by my own stuff. And let's convert my roughness. Let's save. Save all. And I'll load this material and like put all the textures in here. I do think I have to replace this material because it doesn't support an alpha. It actually doesn't look so bad. So the problem with this material is I don't have opacity map. And I think it's because I have a weird setting. So if I find my master, I think I have to duplicate it. Let's find the parent. Maybe this one will work. Oh yeah, this one maybe work. I'll replace it to the flower. This one here. And then try to plug in these things. So I think with the subsurface profile, just the masking feature on the material, this like basically gets disabled. We'll see if this actually works. And I'll come back and I'll rename. And then this can't be virtual texture. That's the one thing that makes this complicated. Okay, that does look better. What I don't remember from here is if this subsurface profile works. And it seems like it does.
What was the material preset you used for the subsurface? Remember we had that issue where the subsurface wasn't showing?
The material preset?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I can tell you, let me find it. Let's find the parent. So it has subsurface profile and it's set to mask and it's double-sided.
No, in Painter.
Oh, you have to use alpha blend template. Are you trying to show subsurface? But if you don't have the alpha blend template, you can go to the shader
Uh-huh.
and the shader and use there's an alpha test.
I don't see alpha test.
Well, if you share the screen, I make your screen larger, I can see it. So I want to maximize my screen so I can see Miguel's screen. Yeah, so at the top there, you actually have an alpha test.
So that is the right one.
Yeah. So in this version of Substance, there's like a bug where the subsurface doesn't show. So you have to do this weird thing, which is what Miguel is trying to do. And then what you'd have to do then is in the display setting. Oh, you have it on right there. You just turned it on. Yeah, it's working now.
Is that working?
Turn it, what you do, what switch are you hitting? Yeah, what is that? What are you doing?
Use translucency channel as scattering mask.
Yeah, that looks correct.
That looks like it's got subsurface.
Well, it has something. I mean, I can't see what you're doing on your screen, so I have no idea what button you're pushing.
Oh, I don't think that looks correct.
But it's changing it. So
Yeah, but it looks like it's just not showing the shading.
okay, so change it when it says scattering type. Change that to translucent.
I remember we messed with this last time and we went back to like the default settings and then it just snapped.
Yeah, but go back. Don't use the redshift. Go to translucent. And change the scale. Okay, so it's not working. Use translucency scattering mask. I would turn that off. And then in your texture set setting, where your layers are, like if you go to your layers tab in the texture set setting, texture set, you have the scattering channel. Do you have it set to white?
I have it white, yeah.
The last thing to check, it does look like it's doing it, is if you're on your other setting where your lights are, your HDR is plugged in. Not that one, but like that one, if the scattering is on there. I don't know why they put it in so many different places, because that makes it super confusing. But there's a check mark. Okay,
right
so
here.
it's on. I actually see it though.
Oh, it is on there.
Yeah, it's just not that strong for some reason. Like usually the scale will crank it up, but that's why I was asking if your scattering channel was white, but it is white. But anyway, this is a bug in Substance. So before, if you just choose like the correct template, it will work, but it doesn't work anymore. You have to do it this really weird way.
Okay. Well, anyway, it's 3:30. So I'm going to save this for now. I'll continue it, and you guys will see it next week. But you could see some succulent thingy.
Yeah.
Looks pretty cool. It's weird.
I think it looks pretty cool. I think you did a good job.
It's all right. All right, guys. So thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you guys next week. And that's it.
Yes. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye. Let me kick this off here. Bye-bye.